how do I reduce myself from mumbling, mumble words such as and like, um, just it's just a filler word that I have a hard time with. And is there, certain practices or things that we could do to prevent that?
Sure. Okay. So let's say, how do we not mumble? What's a good header for this? So how do we not mumble?
Yeah, filler words.
Okay. So how to not mumble and how to not use filler words. Okay. Well, this takes a degree of practice. Okay. So know your material. Okay, now generally it's a betrayal of our lack of confidence when we say and like that basically means that we're somewhat nervous. That means that we are not fully prepared. So to be fully prepared, know your material. When I do any sort of reading passage with my students, I like to analyze it. Learn about what you are talking about. Okay. Now, this is key because unless you're a newscaster or perhaps a politician, or very, very few people in our society, it's going to be a rare occasion that you are going to be handed something sophisticated to read without any notice whatsoever. Very seldom does this ever happen. Somebody's not going to come and hand you something that you've never seen before and you have to present it to the public immediately. It doesn't happen that way. So you have time. Now, this is urgent because the less time you put into preparing your material, the more you're going to, well, what did we say? Stumble, stammer, stutter. Now, not stutter as in the speaking disability. I mean stutter as in just sort of trip on your words through lack of preparedness. So if you are prepared to give a speech, to give a presentation, to discuss something on PowerPoint, to go through a job interview, to give a sales pitch to a client, you're a professional. You have this job for a reason. So obviously you are going to be able to do your job properly. So yes, like I said, prepare. How do you not mumble? How do you say, and like, so we're going to we had like a really bad quarter and we're going to like do some plans and hope to make profits better. You heard that just now. Nobody wants to listen to that, okay? All your listeners are thinking is, wow, this person is really uncomfortable up there. This person doesn't know their stuff. This person doesn't want to be here, so they're wasting my time. I don't need to listen to them, okay? So know your material. Learn about what you are talking about, because even if you forget a word or if you stumble a little bit, that's fine because you understand the point that you're making. You can go back to it. So you've got the time to put in the time. You get out what you put in, it's going to be worth it for you. Okay, so now we all know that politicians do it too. Like, uh, um, you know, we do this a lot, and we do this a lot in casual conversation because we're trying to think of things to say. We're trying to validate our position in the conversation. But you're the presenter. You don't need to validate your position in the conversation. You are leading the conversation. Okay, so slow it down. This is something that comes up in every class I teach, no matter what the actual class is, because my students go so very, very quickly. No matter how slow you sound in your head, you don't sound that slow to your listeners. So just slow it down. Because the quicker you talk, the more that you get a little like tripped up a little bit like this, and this is how you go, and this is how you do it, and nobody wants to listen to you because they can't understand you and you look really insecure, right? So you don't want to do that. You want to slow it down. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very glad that you could be here. What we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at some sales plans that we're going to implement in the next quarter. Okay, so you're not going fast enough to need to trip, to need to say, you know, we don't have to do that. Okay, if you know your material, if you know exactly what the point is that you're going to make, then the ums and the ahs and the likes and the you knows, they all go away with practice. So there you go.